In this video, we went and talked about the PG27AQDM, brand new monitor that's OLED from Asus. Has great brightness, has a couple of barriers that we went and faced within this when we went into the Nvidia control panels with stuff. We also, within this video, go and do an unboxing as well as showing you all the different settings that are there within the OSD of the menu, as well as using the display widget center, then also firmware updating this monitor. If you guys are new to the YouTube channel, please do remember to like and subscribe. It really does help me make a bunch more videos on the channel. I hope you stay tuned. See you for now. What's going on, gamers? How we doing? How we doing? Hope we're doing good. Today is a very exciting day. Today we got the PG27AQDM OLED. We're gonna have a fun time opening this box right now. We're gonna get this open and yeah, it's gonna be great, like unboxing this stuff. I'm gonna turn it all over for now. Best way to move this about. We'll go up to the top like this. And yeah. Also, some parts of me forgot I have a phone that I could go and record the stuff like up close with that type of stuff. Sorry about that, gamers. Please remind me in the comment section next time for when we're doing these type of unboxing stuff. We go ahead and open the box, and then I begin to show off some things on the camera with all the different things that come in the monitor box. Got ourselves a little color calibration thing right here. Tells us the information about the monitor. All that jazz. Good old power brick. Got like a little travel case right here. Quite nifty. Don't know why you would want to travel with this monitor, but you can. We got all the little cables. Look how great this is. Got HDMI 2.1, 2.0 cable, ROG official, USB 3 cable, because it's got a built-in USB port, USB hub on the back of it. A display cable, because this is the main thing that we're using for it. We got, what we got here. I'm pretty sure this is just the little thing that's on the back of it, isn't it? We'll figure it out. Yeah, that's the little glass that you put on the logo. Yep, little ROG logo right there. I love it that it's got so much shit here, you know? They give you so much stuff. And that bag is nice. More stickers and other stuff. Quite nice. Some stickers. Oh yeah. ROG branding stuff. Good old stickers. I love stickers. Got ourselves the instruction manual right here. Good old instructions. Gotta love them. Oh yes, got the little power brick right here. Got another prong. So if we were in Europe, we can use it there. We got the base. Little tripod feet. Feel like I got a fidget spinner back again, gamers. Look how dangerous this is. Oh, it's full metal too. That is great. That is really nice. We got this thing. I think this is the little bottom of the thing, yeah. Little bottom. Little base. Base, no trouble. All about that base. About that base, no trouble. Good old ROG logo again. We got this thing. This thing allows us to go up and down. People were saying this thing is light as anything. If you're telling me that this is how light this stand feels, no. I'll tell you one thing, it's not light. It's not light, it's heavy. You can't see it very well, gamers, but here it is. This is what it looks like. Little tripod. Here we go. This is the footprint that we put on the back of the monitor. Look how good that is. Look how good that is. That looks so good. Does that only work when we base mount it? Here is the monitor. So, what I'd advise, like all the other YouTubers who have shown OLED technology, is I'd hook this up onto the monitor instead of actually like putting it first. Because that's how you end up break your screen. You know, because these things are so thin. Ah! So heavy. So heavy. So heavy. So heavy. Not used to this. I'm not used to heavy shit. Everybody was saying it was thin and light. It's on you, everybody. Everybody sucks. But they're not wrong about how good this monitor is. So we're gonna get the old monitor out of the way. Why the hell did I have to have everything based around this monitor? Alright, we'll be ready. We'll be ready soon, gamers. Cut. Fade to black. Then opening the monitor, we went and placed it all down and we got it like right here in front of us right now. That was the process of us playing with the monitor, trying out all different features with all the different settings. And now I'm going to go and show you some of the OSD things that have gone on with the monitor and how we change things with the HDR mode. And then later on, I'll show you all the Nvidia settings that we go and do, as well as the display widget center. Cheers for now. What's going on, gamers? How we doing? Right now we got the Asus monitor right in front of us, the PG27AQDM. I'm gonna go and show you some settings and some user stuff that we've went and done of all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna show you some stuff right now. Okay, so right now we've got the game set accordingly to HDR mode with settings, and this game looks spotting. It looks amazing in HDR mode. The quality is really great. I really love it. As you can see, it's just set on Asus Gaming. Then as far as other things, gamers, to actually do some stuff, as you guys can see all here in the menu system, we got brightness, we got gaming, we've got over here G-Sync compatible. All these are grayed out right now because we're in HDR mode. We got some color settings. We've got the display options. Got RGB for the front and the back. We got the shortcuts, which is basically this button right here that I'm pressing in the middle. It works as a D-pad. We got customized settings where we can change some stuff. We got your basic UI layout stuff with power indicator. If you're wondering what that is, it's this little light right here. But I personally keep that light on, gamers, even though it can be a little bit annoying. Mainly to do with the fact that you can then see when you got pixel refreshing that goes and happens within the monitor. And then also, yeah, screensaver, we turn this off, gamers. Pixel cleaning, we also can just toggle that on whenever. Screensaver, you basically don't want screensaver on. Then with screensaver on, pixel cleaning, that just does a pixel refresh. So then like you don't get static elements on the screen. Screen mover, this also helps with like moving different things, so strong, medium, and low. Basically I have that turned off right now because of the fact that when we are gaming, it just gets a little bit annoying seeing stuff that go on with the stuff. Little adjustment logo brighten off. Pixel cleaning cycle reminder, that on. Power settings, we've got this on standard. If you put power saving mode, it stops you from doing a lot of those extra settings. Now, gamers, I'm gonna go and turn off. And as you guys can see right here, Doom Eternal, and the settings that we have right here, if you're wondering to go and if you want to do the HDR settings yourself, we've got it like right here like this. We've got it like right here like this in HDR brightness. You know, we got, you know, it's all up to personal preference whenever it comes to these things. But you know, yeah, HDR white point, HDR minimum, we got that lowered down so then we can see better clearly how well those things are going right now. Also, gamers, I'd recommend you go into display. Right, there is an app that's called HDR, Windows HDR. Use this for all the different HDR colors and such like that. It helps out a ton. We're gonna turn HDR mode off, as you can see right there. I'll turn it off. Should work like that. Here we go. We got HDR mode off, and now we're looking a lot more brighter and vibrant. We get vibrant colors back. versus what were dimly lit colors and such like that. As you can see, they're pretty nice. We've got the brightness on this thing set all the way to 100 because like that's the best type of stuff going that you can go for this monitor. We got contrast set on default, same as vivid. That's more of things that is personal preference. Blue lights, that's also a bit of a gimmick type stuff where like it changes all the other stuff if you're unfortunate. DCI-P and sRGB, we can see how bright the difference is between those. Right now, I'm pretty sure we have it in... I'm just gonna see right here. We have it in user mode. Now in user mode, I've gone and dialed in all the different type of settings when it comes to this stuff. Because like, I think it's very important to have like these like set out properly. So then you can like change all the different stuff. So then when you're just casually on the monitor and you're not wanting to do stuff for gaming, or maybe a little bit of gaming, but you're not so fussed about changing all the different presets with it, you'd go back to this one, you know, which is like the standard type of color. But also because we're YouTuber gamers and we want things to be quite nice for like general look of stuff, as well as like the ability of having that color accuracy for like color grading or so like that, if we need color grading, that is like this video for example, or need some color grading right now because I'm on a picture profile. Right, so here we are. We've got HDR settings right here. What is normal settings? If you're wondering, shadow boost, we don't actually have this one turned on because yes, it's nice for like some extra depth if things get like pretty dim in a thing. But what I'd recommend is you either leave this on 1 or you put it on dynamic adjust or you keep it on off. Okay, status update. I was watching good old like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's better keeping the dynamic adjustment up because like when you get those scenes where there's those deep shadows that go and happen and you can't see much that's going on with it, yeah, you kind of want to turn that up. So then like yeah, the dynamic adjust one is pretty good for that. Contrast is the same with the brightness where it like makes it a bit more brighter on its own. Completely fine on default though. User settings. So I went and copied one YouTuber who went and talked about the 42-inch version of this monitor because that monitor is basically exactly the same as far as the color depth and such like that. And so we've changed red to 100, we have changed G to 90, we have blue to 78 right there. We haven't messed about with the 6-axis saturation, that's a whole nother thing on its own. And the gamma is completely fine on 2.2 on its own. You know, it just gets quite dimmer when you go down from there. You can have that to your heart's content with all the rest of the other stuff. It's also really nice when we've got like all the different presets on here. So we got like racing mode, cinema mode. Cinema mode is really good for like watching films and such like that. I really like the cinema mode for just generally being on this because what I've done is I've turned dynamic colors on with cinema mode because I like that extra oomph with the cinema mode when I was gaming. RTS mode, this is for RPGs and such like that. So like Doom Eternal right now, this is the type of bog standard that you would want to do for like the type of look of things right now. What else we got? Got FPS mode, so then when we're playing a game like Fortnite, we can be very happy. sRGB mode, that's another bit of calibration that we got to do on its own. Scenery mode, same thing. Racing mode, I've kept these all practically by default, but apart from like RTS mode and cinema mode, because cinema mode, I really like this, you know, especially when you see the color on the gun. It's like right here, you know, it's makes it like be a lot more sharper. Yeah, I love the vivid colors. I love the vivid colors. The vivid colors are really nice. Really nice vivid colors. It feels like it's not real because of like how it is like this. You know, it feels so shiny within this game right now. Super shiny. I'd also recommend going in and adjusting the stuff for the monitor on standard dynamic range, because you want like for it to be like regularly, rather than keep it in HDR mode and just have certain games go on to HDR mode. So like how we did with Doom Eternal just then and played that. So yeah, right now we have Rick and Morty right here in good old standard dynamic range mode. As soon as we go on to this and turn on HDR mode, so from here, use HDR mode, you see there is a significant difference in like brightness clarity. But you might not be able to see it so much on the camera. Not as much as I can in person. But, you know, yeah, you got your own different presets that you can put in this. You got some calibrated HDR ones, all in 1440p right here. Also got it as where you can use this onto auto HDR brightness, where it goes and auto dims up and dims down. Not so great on the OLED right now. And there's this bit that you want to make sure that when you've got SDR content and HDR stuff, you want to make sure that this is set all the way up to the top. Then you got all the brightness and such like that, so then it doesn't look at all dim within the monitor when we're in HDR content. One thing I wanted to show you was just this. Right now we have all the different settings that we went and did beforehand. They're all in this one good old software. That's the Asus display widget software. Goes and tells you where each of these different things are, what is the theme of the windows and such like that, sRGB modes, all the special fancy gadgets and doodads. And so yeah, if it's launched properly, it'll go and show you what preset you're on right now currently, and then move across accordingly. Yep, we still got HDR mode on. Would you believe that? Yes. And then sometimes we have some weird stuff that's a bit like this too. Feel like this is just a BIOS thing. Okay, so in this part of the video where we go and show that there is this type of screen tearing that is going on with the monitor, this was actually caused when we turned our monitor into HDR mode, because our computer doesn't actually do full range with HDR mode. Yes, it does actually support HDR mode, but because it's a gaming laptop with battery mode and such like that as a thing to save with power and such like that, it doesn't actually like to use as a feature HDR mode. So having that being said, take this little bit of footage that you see with a grain of salt. It will vary on your type of situation, what your thing is, but also be wary that this sometimes might have some tearing thing that goes on and happens like this. The best way to do about this is to go into the software that's on the website of Asus, and then to go on and ahead download the latest version of what the monitor is, because the monitor ships in 1.1101 at V1. The Asus on the website has version 102 V2. Having that being clear. The last thing we looked at, gamers, was to see all the different settings that were on our monitor. Well, it's been a couple of days since we went and did that. I am going to show you a Blurbusters test of how well this monitor performs with the UFO test. As you guys should be able to see right here, it is synced up right now. I'm going to go and show you some good old bits with this Blurbusters test, because it is really smooth as this monitor, plays really good, does really nicely, and you know, yeah, I can't go wrong with it. Okay, so VSync off and on. When I had G-Sync off, I noticed that it did significant better input delay within video games versus where G-Sync is designed to make things look more smoother for like motion clarity. This can be seen a bit within two pictures that I've got here with G-Sync, and then also this other picture here with a G-Sync off. I'd personally change this to whichever one suits you guys the best. Stick with G-Sync off for if you're wanting to play like FPS games, or it depends if you got like V-Sync on as well. But for both of these options, you want to keep V-Sync enabled. In the next bit with the Nvidia settings, what things are best to change them to. What's going on, gamers? We're going to show you some Nvidia settings right now for gaming and such like that, so then you guys can go on ahead and know for what is the best stuff to use with this when you're using this for your monitors and such like that. And you know, yeah, so We got image scaling. This is regular. This is sharpness within games. You can put this on default by 50% if you really want to have image scaling on. It's a thing that automatically happens anyway within so-and-so games. So, I mean, we don't really need to use it. Ambient oculus occlusion. That's games that have it enabled or don't have it enabled by default. Anisotropics filtering. This is if you want the game to look the best and such like that. So if you're the guy who's wanting it to look the most nicest thing, you want it on 16 times because then you get like the best looking image quality, because that just changes it for absolutely everything in every other gaming scenario. Personally, because I've got a gaming laptop, I kind of don't run it like that. CUDA cores, that's just saying how many GPUs you have in the thing. Low latency mode, always when there's the difference between on and ultra, make sure this is on ultra because it gives you the lowest latency possible within this thing. Multi-frame sampling AA, this one's also off by default by Nvidia. In some games, if you have multi-FA as a ability to choose with anti-alias, if you have this off, your frame rate goes down by 10%, a bit down further than normal, so having this on helps a little bit more with some frame rate in games. Power management mode, we have this all set to normal because if you set it prefer maximum performance, you end up using it way too much more than what things usually are. Prefer refresh rates to be available. This is either you leave it on normal like this or highest available. Highest available usually is what I go with these things within the monitor. Because I had it on G-Sync on and off, that disables it. Texture fidelity, if you're a high FPS gamer, put this all the way down at high performance. If you're a person who likes the look of stuff, either stick with quality or high quality. There's not much difference between performance and high performance. In some scenarios, high performance is better than performance, and others, it's also the same. If you're wanting to have this on normal, you can put this on use 3D application. That will work completely fine like normally. You've also got it, if you want it to be not on, you can just turn it on off. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if you want the lowest latency possible, I'd turn this off. But, you know, yeah, if you're wanting to go with G-Sync on, I'd just turn Virtual Sync just to set to on. And then there was another setting mode. FPS mode, you would want to turn this on, and instead of having this set 240 FPS, you want to have this set at 236 or 237, just under, because that's how VSync works when it caps at the normal refresh of your monitor. It's always bottlenecks under what is the actual monitor overclocking. Because we're content creator gamers, we like to keep that on like that. On this part, on change resolution, you can see we have the monitor set to 2560 by 1440 native. It's normal 1440p resolution. You're gonna make sure it's set like this, and your normal screen's also set to its maximum resolution. Make sure you got your refresh rate set to 240 hertz at the top over here. Also the same for your normal display. And then for extra color settings, we've got use Nvidia color settings. You can put it on the highest available, that's right there. And this is where we can change between 8-bit color and 10-bit color, and we want to make sure this is set from limited to full, so then we got that full color range. And because we are using a monitor and we're not doing anything in print, we want it to be set on RGB, because RGB gives us the highest color space that we can use within this monitor to get the most crispest looking colors that are within this. Over here, we've got extra brightness settings right here that we can adjust to the monitor. I definitely change the gamma of this bit of the digital vibrancy would be one of the best things to do, and the brightness sometimes, you know, those ones are really good. If you click override reference mode, this just sets it to your monitor's native like colors that go straight away from this. So technically you could have it where everything is then seen all the same. Over here, adjust desktop size proportion. This is pretty good for me. I'd prefer, just so then you don't have any screen tearing with stuff, boys, I'd put no scaling on for like both of these. Make sure on perform scaling it is not on the display. Make sure it's all working on your computer's GPU. Has plenty of horsepower that's there. Adjust video color settings. This is also the same with that one setting before. You can set brightness again, but make sure dynamic range is from limited to full, because there is a lot more color space in dynamic range. There is no input delay. There's Nvidia color settings. Make sure that these are on. Use latency. That doesn't really do all that much difference. It's better for TV looking stuff and all that. Super resolution. If you're a guy who uses Chrome, this is basically what this uses at the moment. I'd set this on and turn it to 4. But if you're a person who's streaming and such like that, don't turn this on, because it can actually impact worse to your performance, because of the fact that it takes a lot more resources in the back of your computer, such as with web videos and such like that. But it's really good for upscaling quality when you're watching YouTube videos on really low settings or so like that, or if you have really bad bandwidth. That's really good. Another one that's in that same setting, in that same ball game of latency, is max background frames. You're going to put this on here and set this to 20. Times when you want to do this is in certain applications and such like that. Whenever you're tabbing in and out of things within games, it's basically you then don't have things that are lagging from moving from one thing to another thing. Also, because we're in 1440p, whenever you have games that are being set up, make sure instead of putting them on full screen mode, put them on borderless full screen mode. You'll thank me. So then you can tab in and tab out of things. So if you're watching movies or something on the side or whatever you want, you know. Now I'm going to go tell you what settings you'd want to use in G-Sync as well. So as soon as I'm turning the monitor, we have to go into adaptive sync that's on the bottom of it. Here we go. We're back again. I'm going to tell you now. Here we are. When we had turned on G-Sync on, you're going to make sure that enable G-Sync compatibility is on both of these. As you can see here, enable settings for G-Sync mode needs to be on. And then also within this, enable for full screen mode, we also want to have this enabled for Windows mode on full screen mode as well. So with windowed mode, that basically allows us, when we're tabbing in and out of things, you can have the best looking with stuff, so then things don't have any smearing and such like that. There is no bad stuff that is going on and happening. So yeah, if you want to have things like where you turn VSync off all the time natively, and then whenever you're streaming or something else like that, you know, and change that on that one settings on the window full screen mode, and by all means do so, because you got the ability to do so. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. What's going on, gamers? How we doing? Hope we're doing all right. We're going to be talking about with the stuff on the Xbox side of things right now. As you guys should be able then to see, I'm going to show you right now. As you guys can see right here, we are on 1440p on the settings at 120 hertz pass through. But gamers, we have not seemed to do very well with all the different stuff right now, because this is just being passed through for this HDMI cable. Yes, it's a bit messy right now. And what we're trying to do, gamers, is we bought ourselves especially this little audio extractor that does 120 hertz pass through, right? And does 4K, right? But the monitor only does 1440p. So you can see like where that is pretty bad like that. Well, we put the thing into 1440p to then be able to convert this and then go into the so-and-so part on the other part over here. Well, right now I've been reading about the little part on Elgato's side of things, and it tells me right here that the Elgato capture card supports pass-through of 4K 60 and can do HDR. However, it can do 1080p at 240 FPS and 1440p at 120 FPS. So, as numbers should be able to add up and then be able to work. But the only trouble is with that is this audio extractor has HDMI 2.1. And the monitor has only HDMI 2.0, because that's the only thing that you need to be able to get that 1440p pass-through. So we're just having a little bit of a fiddle, changing some settings around and such like that, and able to then see what thing is going wrong, what's going to happen with it and such like that. And you know, yeah, we'll figure it out. We're going to have some fun with it, but I've tried it beforehand, putting it into so-and-so thing, and then it just not working. So I'm going to take some more attempts at trying to do this. And yeah, I'll see yous when we get it all done. The first thing that we do enable to get 1440p on our monitors is you go into settings, we go on to TV and display options. Now we've got it as set to 1440p for the resolution and 120 Hz. If that doesn't show up straight away, go into this setting over here, change allow YCC 422 encoding off, and also do the same thing with allow 4K off, and then be able to switch throughout all these different settings. Straight away, I tried this with HDMI to be able to use this. You are limited to, with this monitor, 8-bit color. Clarifying, this 8-bit color is only on the console side of things. You can go all the way up to 10-bit color on the PC side in Nvidia Settings. What's going on, gamers? You remember yesterday where we went and said that you can use stuff like 1440p? Well, with this monitor, you can use it in 1440p within so-and-so settings, but you can't use it other than on 8-bit pixel. At the moment, gamers, even though you can go and switch this and like change all the different things to make it think like as if it is on a different thing, it doesn't actually work for the support on the Elgato capture card. It has been flickering to turn on and off stuff, and the main thing to do with this is because everything else is using HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. Monitor only has HDMI 2.0 bandwidth. So the only thing that I can advise, if you want to use this monitor with 1440p pass-through with 120 Hz, it's only going to be without using a capture card. You can also do this with the audio extractor just fine if you wanted to capture something through an audio rack. But at the moment, if you wanted to use an audio extractor as well as the ability of using a capture card, this cannot be done with this setup with this monitor because it's only got HDMI 2.0 support. Not up to HDMI 2.1. This has now been made redundant though, however, gamers, because we have actually gotten ourselves a great old audio extractor that is different and works different with somewhat settings that are exactly the same as what we use on the normal. So gamers, we've got 1440p as an option as well as 120 Hz right there, as you should be able to see. We've also, as I've stated, it is this device that can do 1440p pass-through with a 120 Hz. Uses one thing that's better than of the other one, where this has 5-watt power versus the other that had a 2-watt power amp. It just uses all the same settings with all this. You can't use variable refresh rate pass-through within this monitor with using this audio extractor though, however. As a recap, we had ourselves this audio extractor that we went and bought that does HDMI 2.1 pass-through and had the problem of what we were doing beforehand where we were trying to get the full bandwidth of 1440p. If you're wanting to use something for monitors that have got HDMI 2.1 pass-through, use this thing. If you're wanting a thing with your monitor that just supports 1080p and does some good old 120 Hz pass through and such like that, use this little thing over here. This one's a great one. We're using this one right now, gamers, as of recording with stuff to be able to get our audio through onto the mix. Also, as another fix right now, gamers, Asus has gone and made the HDR performance as to be optimized now, where it's got a firmware update for HDR, so that should fix hopefully the rest of any issues that are within this monitor. They're just gonna keep on updating on that site if there's any more things that are left to come. But you gamers, I have been your host Super Gaming here. If you guys are new to the YouTube channel, please do remember to like and subscribe. I hope to see you all around later. Goodbye.